Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. I'm sorry this video is a bit late, but as you may be able to hear from my voice, I've had a bad throat infection, so I've not been able to speak, or I've not really felt well enough to make a video. So today, I thought we'd just do some art journaling together. So I have an old Amazon package here, which I've just put some gesso on. And I have these pieces of paper because I'm currently gessoing a canvas to use, and to use up the gesso I just use the brush and put it on paper or card that I have lying around, so that I'm limiting the amount of waste really. And I really like at the moment coffee bags, and I put this coffee bag on this piece of paper to dry out because I'm saving the coffee bags for a project which I might share with you one day, and it's left this really interesting imprint. So I'm going to tear these off and use them to journal with. Quite like it like that. Kind of looks like a person swimming, maybe, or two people swimming. I don't know. Oh, the back's interesting as well. Look at that. Got a ghost on the back. I'm just using some Pritt stick here. I'm going to glue it over that middle bit there. And my art journaling process is really using up scraps to make anything. Sometimes it might be a nice picture, sometimes it's literally just a random collage because it's just for me, so it doesn't matter, and often ends up looking quite pretty. So I'm also going to tear out this one. Oh, now do I like the back or do I like the front better? I think we'll go with the front. I'm going to use up some of these strips as well, because I might write on those. I'm going to tear off some random strips and place them around so that I can write over them. It's a great way to use up old packaging and bits and bobs that you have lying around and just make them into one thing, instead of always just throwing everything away or recycling it. So I'm going to try have a pen and some ink here, just writing. It's a really, really rainy day today. And it's early spring, very early spring. And I think this is going to be rainy day inspired. I'm going to write the date. I'm going to go into my acorn ink that I mixed with some iron. I'm going to try and write over it. I find also art journaling is a really good way to test materials out, see how they work on top of each other as well. So I'm just going to test this directly onto the gesso just to see what it does. So it's grey, but beautiful. Let's have some rain splatters. It's actually working quite well. I'm surprised. Let's have some. It's almost a greeny black. A slurp of coffee. My oak gall ink here as well. Let's add a little bit of colour. Just to see how oak gall ink works over the gesso as well, how it mixes. I'm really interested to see how this will dry. Got to have a blustery tree in there, haven't we, for today? Let's have some trees that are blowing all the way. So just nice impressions of trees rather than trees. Then just some nice little patterns. I do love a random splash pattern. Right, I feel like adding a little bit of colour. So how am I feeling today? I don't mind rainy days, as long as I'm inside and cosy. So let's add the word cosy up here. In my studio. I've got a thing about scribbles at the minute, and nice patterns for decorating. Especially when it kind of looks like writing. And I'm just adding some decoration. So you don't have to write anything in your art journal if you don't want to, for your journal. You can just, or you can write loads and not do any art at all. It's really entirely up to you. I feel like adding a little bit of colour, so I'm going to add a little bit of this really, really bright red, because I feel like red on a grey day. I really like to see the ferns. I passed a bush, I passed some woodland, and it had all of these bright, bright red ferns against the mud, the green of the fir trees. So I'm just going to remember those ferns here by just doing little hints of them. And I loved how they all looked together, just lying kind of higgledy-piggledy. Against the green and the brown. So I'm just going to give a little hint to that. Add some splashes. I don't think we have enough splashes for it being a rainy day and enough drips, so I'm going to go back in with my old ink because it's nice and dark, and let's add some big splashes across the top and then let it run. Stand it right up. And just watch as it pours down, as if it's like a rainy day, pouring down the window. Add some more splashes and just tilt them up a little bit. A little bit more rainy dayness down at the bottom, so let's add some splatter. Nice splashes of mud, as if you're walking through the woods and you've just trodden through loads of mud. We're splashing through all of the mud. That looks a little chaotic now, but when it's dry, it'll be quite a pretty piece, just to have as a journal to look back on one day and remind you of the rainy days. So thank you for joining me this week with my bad throat, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.